Now, I see that the PTR just went up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's Flex's opinion.
Yeah.
So, there's Flex's opinion. Good funny.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. F14. Which is, the opposite of Echo's opinion, apparently.
Yeah, it was the Echo tweet that was like
Very
the opposite.
unfair.
So I thought that was pretty funny. There you go. Get derailed, PTR. The Echo one's the opposite, and it's, I joked, I memed on them at the bottom. Obviously, Echo are joking.
Yes.
These groups are pretty funny at social media, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the crack there. There you go, Flex. Right, PTR, of course, is on maintenance day, with raid testing happening on Endwalker Early Access Day.
Is it going to really matter? No. Is it just a kind of bad look where, if you completely ignore the reality of the situation, which is they were working on it this week, got delayed till maintenance day because they did want to have it up last night, but failed. Whatever technical things held them back. So yeah. Is it going to impact Endwalker? No. You would imagine not, but it might. Might impact raid testing, actually, because how do I put it? There's an awful lot of people who I expect would be on the ball with raid testing might cut raid testing short to get back to Endwalker faster if they bother raid testing at all, like a lot of the raiders who are going to want to have a whole bunch of different comps to try stuff out or, get a feel for it versus just, kind of, do I really have to be there? Can I play Endwalker? It's weird. I don't really expect much from it. I don't really think there's any intentionality because they're not that mad, but still vaguely just a bad look because people can meme about it. And that's the problem. You have to pay attention. What are people going to meme on you for?
Yeah.
You have to I guess you have to understand your enemy in order to act around them, and public opinion is now Blizzard's enemy. So they need to be hyper careful of it.
Oh man. Yeah, so look, it's just a little funny, right?
Yeah.
There's really nothing more to it. We do though have 9.2 development notes.
Yeah, which aren't really much, to be honest, sadly.
Yes, because really it's a lot of stuff that we know, so it's just covering the new raid, Tazavesh, Progenitor armor set that we already know of, pet bundles, solo shuffle, recipes, crafter's marks that take you up to 233. There's also a unique crafter's mark that takes you up to 262.
Standard.
A few more things for the other professions. Not a great deal to really talk about. We've got some new ore. We've got chapters 1, 2, and 3 being available for testing.
That's a decision. Like,
let's not, guys. Let's find a way to encrypt all of that broadcast text and not turn it on in PTR, please. I think it would be, to be very real, would that lead to decreased revenue for Bellular tech tips and for Taliesin and for Soul and for yeah, it would be decreased revenue from all of us because there wouldn't be a big lore hint. This gets to be a third of one of our news videos. Woohoo, let's go. Which is genuinely what it's like whenever a big cool new thing, comes out to talk about. For all of us, right? It's like, Christmas, a new cool bit of the lore, a new thing to talk about. But is it the best for the game? And, Tally, I think, recently tweeted something I agree with, that, really wish these chapters weren't in the PTR. I agree with that entirely. If there was a way that we could have the PTR purely just be gameplay, with as much stuff fenced away and encrypted as is possible, I think that would be better. That would be better.
absolutely.
So, yes. Got that. Then, Torghast. Of course, talking about the Jailer's Gauntlet.
The boss rush.
Torments. New empowered torments, existing torments have increased in strength. There you go. That's stuff we've already talked about. Click casting, mouse unit over casting. We've already talked about that.
That's great that it's finally being there properly.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We're all happy about that. We've got Zareth Mortis then being talked a little bit about. Again, this is all stuff that we know. We've got the Enlightened reputation. We've got the Cypher, the First One system. I will be interested to see what that thing looks like for sure. But they are saying that any aspects being discussed could be subject to change, so it's definitely a very early version.
I would like to assume this is implicit for all of this.
Yeah, true.
Giving it a PTR, but yeah.
But I think the more that they say it, and especially if they think something may not turn out the best,
Yeah.
it's good that they say it.
Is that them saying, please tell us if this is shit?
Yeah. Yeah, and hey, we will.
Yep.
But same goes in all game development. Like,
Yeah.
look, if we end up, I don't know if we're doing a demo or anything, but if you see a part of our game, you're like, that looks shit. I mean, look, if you're looking for an MMORPG from a small indie team, then that's not going to happen. But if this is, if you have a reasonable bit of constructive, criticism, we're going to take it on board because that's the thing to do. And that this is all good. And look, it does seem like the devs are a bit more open to that sort of thing as of this and 9.1. So, if what we want to see is happening, we got to support them. We got to back them up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We then got unit sex documentation, perhaps gender pronoun options. Don't really know what it is. To be honest, of course, this is something that a lot of modern games have, New World has, etc., etc. So, yeah, I'm just going to add that in.
Well, that doesn't look like it took a bunch of time or effort. Just here you go.
Yeah, pretty simple thing to do. So that's what they're doing there. And then Samaya also found gamepad support for pet battles, which, again, makes sense.
Yep. It's interesting. I imagine they must be waiting until 10.0 to do it, or some other good time where they have more freedom. But I'm surprised there's no. I guess it required a pretty major UI redesign. The idea of gamepad support being full end-to-end support, as opposed to you can bind it for accessibility purposes. But I think that comes into what I was talking about last week or the week before about them considering the mouse over stuff and click to be accessibility as opposed to valid gameplay options, if you get me.
I mean, I think that's just how it came off. I think that, realistically, they do play the game and they know that.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of thinking in terms of what team's involved. Because the gameplay concerns team, and there's likely a lot bigger and a lot more resources than the accessibility team. So I'd imagine it should fall under their category, so it should be done quicker and better, etc. Well, maybe not better is a bit rude because it implies that, but you know what I mean. More resources, going to be more time on it, stuff like that. So,
indeed, indeedo.
Absolutely.
So we got that going on. That's the PTR coverage.